Oh yeah, that's a healthy dose of nostalgia. Hello and welcome to Modern Broadcast. In today's episode, we're going to be taking a look at the PlayStation 2. Now, you may be asking yourself, why are we looking at this 23-year-old console? Well, let me tell you, here in 2023, we have a very easy and cheap mod to give our PlayStation 2 a new breath of life. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so here we have the PlayStation 2. This is the fat model, and this is actually my wife's. When she was growing up, PlayStation 2 is her favorite system, so hopefully we don't mess this up. So for this modification, what we need to do is we're going to be utilizing the memory card here. We're also going to be utilizing the USB here in the front, and lastly, the expansion bay on the back. So this modification is budget friendly. It costs about $50 in total with everything said and done. It allows us to play games off an internal hard drive in that expansion bay. So let's go ahead and get started. Now, per usual, let's get our supply list together. The first thing that we're going to need is our PlayStation 2 console, and this does have to be the fat model. This does not work on the slim model here. And again, we're using my wife's PlayStation 2 from when she was growing up, so let's be extra careful in today's video, huh? We're also going to need a SATA to expansion bay adapter. This allows us to plug in a SATA hard drive into that expansion bay. Next up, we're going to need a special memory card called McBoot. This is, again, available on Amazon. I'll have links in the description below for everything that we're using. We'll also need a USB thumb drive. Or flash stick. I have a little 8 gigabyte one here. And we'll also need a hard drive. You can either use a 3.5 standard desktop internal hard drive, or you can even use a 2.5 hard drive. I'm going to use a donor one from an old laptop of mine. I also strongly recommend that you have a SATA to USB if you're going to be using like a laptop drive, so that way you can easily transfer your games to the hard drive later on in this video. You can use SSD for the PlayStation 2, but due to the limitations that the PlayStation 2 has, you won't get that speed performance. However, the machine will run more quiet as you're playing the games. I figure we start with an unboxing of our components here, and so here we have the internal SATA interface. This is what allows us to plug the hard drive into the back of our PlayStation 2. That's going to store all of our games for us. So this is readily available on Amazon. I'll have a link down in the description below where you can get yours. And packaging is pretty simple here. It's just completely a white box. And let's go ahead and just open it up. Alright, so here we have the component. In the upper left-hand corner it says GameStar, and here it says HDD for hard disk drive. On the other side, looks like we have a cover for the serial port that plugs into the PlayStation. I'm going to go ahead and remove this cover here. There we go. And at the bottom here we have our SATA connector. Moving on to the PlayStation McBoot here. So this is a memory card lookalike that has some very specific files on it. Again, this is available on Amazon. Again, links are down in the description below. This is a plug-and-play device, and without this, you would not be able to run Homebrew on your PlayStation 2. Let's go ahead and get this guy open. Looks like at the top here we have a warning that says not to be used for game saves as it can corrupt the file structure. So definitely have a second memory card to save all your game files. Alright, and here we go. Looks like we have a free McBoot manual. This is surprisingly thick. I'm actually quite surprised. I was imagining just having like a warranty card, maybe even if that. And look at that, the warranty card. Okay. Anyways, so here's the device. It looks like a PlayStation 2 memory card. Has the 8 megabytes and whatnot. It just doesn't have the blue PlayStation font on the top. But otherwise, this looks like an authentic PlayStation 2 memory card. So the box advertises that this is plug and play. Let's go ahead and just plug it into our PlayStation 2. Then head on over to the computer and get our computer files ready. Over here on our Windows desktop, we have the Grim Doomer Open PS2 Loader GitHub page. And what we're going to do is we're going to first go ahead and prep our thumb drive and get that ready to go with the files we need, and then we're going to also prep our hard drive so we can load games onto it. So here on the GitHub, we have 2 tags under releases. I'm going to click on that. We have the 1.2.0 beta, and we have the 1.2.0.1 beta. So we're going to go ahead and click on this one here and download the opl.zip file. So with that file now on our desktop, what we're going to do is we're going to go and right click and extract. We'll put that right here. Delete the zip. And we have our thumb drive here, which is the I drive for me. I already formatted it and made it say OPL. Open this up. Open up again. And what we want to transfer over is just the opl.elf file. Perfect. Go ahead and close that out. And with that file transferred over, we can go ahead and safely remove our thumb drive. All right, let's go ahead and take it here, and we're going to plug it into the top, or I guess left, USB port here on the PlayStation 2. Perfect. So what I did is connected that 2.5 hard drive to a SATA to USB connector here, and connected to my computer. And I'm going to go ahead and scroll on down, and here we have it, disk 6, 1 terabyte, unallocated. So this is under the disk management tool on Windows. And what we're going to do is going to go right click, new simple volume, and follow the wizard. We're going to say next, next. We'll assign a letter. I'll go ahead and assign it I, that's fine. And here on this one, format partition, we want to change this NTFS to exFAT. So we're going to go ahead and do that. And I'm going to name this volume. You can either leave it blank, you can name it whatever you want. I'm going to name mine PS2. Hit next, and finish. Perfect. There we have it. Okay, now that we're here on our PlayStation 2 drive, what we need to do is go ahead and right-click, create new folder. We're going to call this DVD. New folder. And call this CD. So, if your game is above 800 megabytes, you'll put it in the DVD folder. And if your game is below 800 megabytes, you'll put it in the CD folder. So I have a couple PlayStation 2 games here, and I think each one is above the 800 megabytes. So I'm going to go ahead and transfer all these to the DVD folder. All right, once our files are done transferring over, what we're going to do is go ahead and safely remove this hard drive and plug it into our PlayStation 2. All right, so here's the back of the PlayStation 2 on the expansion port here. So I'm going to go ahead and just open this up. Got my little tool here. Opening this up, it may be a little bit dusty inside. Could need a cleaning. Going to go ahead and do that real quick. Then I'm going to take the donor hard drive that I had. This is a 2.5. It was an old laptop of mine. This is where we just transferred all those games to. I'm going to go ahead and get this hooked up and set inside there. All right, taking the internal SATA interface, just plug it in right there, like so. Okay. So we'll just kind of push this into place, and then we'll use a flathead screwdriver to screw it in on the top here and the bottom. And that's it. We're ready to plug in our Voltron here and boot up. All right, so as we see, it's booted into that free McBoot. And what we want to do is go ahead and go to uLaunch ELF. And then push circle for file browser. Scroll down to mass, as that is our thumb drive, and push circle. Then we want to push down and go to opl.elf and circle again. You will get a black screen for a few moments, and eventually it will boot up, so just be patient with it. And there we go. It's loading. So here we are in OPL. One thing that I had to do right away, it was a bit fuzzy connected to the HDMI upscaler, so I went ahead and pushed start. I went to display, and I turned widescreen off, and that made it a lot more clear for me in order to see, as the font was a little bit fuzzy. But next thing is, we have the USB here, and we see that there's nothing on USB because it's just the OPL on our USB drive. But if we push over, here we have the HDD, so the hard drive, and we see at the bottom it says IDE. There's nothing there, but if we push right on the D-pad one more time, then it shows all of our games. And hypothetically, if we just push X on this, it should boot up right away. I'm not gonna lie, I was a little bit worried there. With all the flash of colors, I was like, oh no, we broke it. But no, it seems to be working. So we have our sound. Let's go ahead. Normal difficulty. And the reason for the black bars is just the standard definition to HDMI upscaler I'm using. It's just a really cheap square block one that is not good at all. It was, I think, like $1.99 at AliExpress. So, you know, definitely not worth but it works. It's just you kind of got a weird black border all around. Unfortunately, due to copyright, I do have to mute this part of Kingdom Hearts as the song is playing. It's working flawlessly. This game, I think the first time I really played was when we did our Odin video, when I really played quite a significant amount. But rest assured, it is working flawlessly. Just muted due to copyright. In order to end, we'll just end like normal. Push the reset button here. And everything breaks for a second. And there we go. Here we are testing out some Burnout 2. I really enjoyed this game growing up. Played it quite a bit. I think I also featured this game in another video, a GameCube video actually, because I would play this actually with my grandpa on school nights, and we'd end up staying up all night trying to just cause as much carnage as possible with crashing the cars. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please consider leaving a like and subscribe. I definitely think this modification is worth it. For around $50, you can get everything you need to get an internal hard drive on your PlayStation 2. Have a great week, everyone, and take care.